we're intending to carry on this series into next year. This will be the final event for 2021, but there will be more in 2022, so please look out for them. So my name is Darren Smith. I'm the head of EIP Elements Practice Group, which specialises in chemistry. EIP is now 21 years old, and it's going from strength to strength with our slogan, Better Different, which is how we approach our work.
But what is being realized now is actually prebiotics and probiotics to maintain the homeostasis, to maintain that balance of microbes in the body is really important. And more innovation in the food and beverage sector is going in that area. So again, we looked at 2009 to 2019 patent filings using classification codes and keywords to see whether we could find any trends relating to probiotics or products containing bacteria, or prebiotics, products that may not contain bacteria but help the community of bacteria in the human body, or a lot of pet foods use prebiotics as well. So animal and human health is the most relevant sector for this. Again, we saw an uptick. There was a dip in filings around 2012, 2013, which, to be honest, we can't explain. But apart from that, there is a continuous upward trend, which follows what we think is increased research and investment in this sector.
Instead, this should be good ongoing IP management, where you do what needs to be done, you consider the issues like ownership, get them right from the outset or early on, so that when due diligence does come around, you're in a position to deal with it. So as part of that, some of the things to think about are ongoing reviews of the patent portfolio. So ensuring the portfolio does still fit the business plan. If it doesn't, it might indicate areas where you need to think about further filings, further technical developments. It might also indicate areas where you can drop patents because they're no longer important to you, or try and assign them. In any case, release funds for other areas of the business. Where you have key patents and you think a due diligence event's coming up, you may well want to consider accelerated prosecution for those patents. Now, obviously, a granted patent is generally going to be considered more favourably than an application, because there's all the uncertainty around the application. Most patent offices have some means of accelerating prosecution. And so for those key patents, you may want to think about that, so that when it comes to due diligence, those rights are granted and you can present them more favourably as a result. Correct chain of title, I've already mentioned. It is important. It is probably the biggest single issue which repeatedly occurs in due diligence analysis. Maintaining procedures for understanding a company's know-how, so that you can demonstrate that's an issue you are on top of and can identify and deal with the important information.
As he said, I'm going to talk through how patently can be used to assist in a due diligence project. Andy's explained the need for ongoing vigilance in respect to the portfolio. The bigger a portfolio gets, the bigger that job can be. Patent is a tool that EIP have developed, been involved in developing, that assists with that analysis. Patent is now a separate company, and they offer a managed service. They build a project for you, include all the IP rights in and the various analytical tools that are required for the project that you're undertaking, and then pass you the project for you to complete the analysis on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, and thanks, Casper. And I think, again, that goes to Andrew's point before around where's the business plan at, has it changed at all? So here we've got a few different examples of the kinds of risks. So for this presentation, we focus quite a lot on medical technology, but with any innovation, particularly in the medicine space, there are lots of dangers. So we have spear phishing, so that's an internal threat that's where I might get an email from, say, net, and an employee opens it up, and then they're able to infiltrate into the network, and that could be getting access to your R&D. It could be requesting a bank transfer on payments, for example, pretending to be a supplier. Then there's also another kind of phishing, which could be the theft of customer data, which again was something that Monica talked about quite a lot through a fake app, for example. Similarly, what we see are things like Twitter hacks, so an official Twitter account being infiltrated, a spoof account. So let's say it's Black Friday, I've got a flash sale, that would get posted, all of the card details are taken, fraud's committed, and then before the owner gets a chance to actually remedy the situation, we're talking tens, hundreds of thousands of pounds in lost revenue. There are then also the more sort of physical side of things as well that you'd expect to see, Casper.
So, for example, health wearables, which would be picked up at customs and confiscated, or fake pharmaceuticals, which is all really dealt with by the local law enforcement if you have the right measures in place.
The question that we always try to ask ourselves has been alluded by several colleagues here, is how can we determine the strength of those assets, how they underpin businesses, the commercial ability of companies in actually reaching their cash flows and their revenues and their profitability, and actually make differences in the world, specifically with medtech and healthcare companies. So we have to think, how can we determine the strength and the value of these assets in a world of ever-changing data and competition? How can we actually differentiate ourselves and actually prove that we're a better service or product or offering?